have that unrealistic expectation, or she's proving to have good skills and you don't feel like you need to take the discussion any further, I think you're probably fine.
Yeah.
But mine was more damage control than...
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And it seems that she's on a really good path, so maybe you don't. Maybe if there is an issue later in life, I think she'll be more than comfortable to come to you because of what you do and how you're knowledgeable about stuff and be like, Dad, you know, I don't understand this or that.
So at what point, though? Because we counsel clients, and, you know, even you and I in our business relationship, you know, we're very transparent about the profit and loss statement in the business. I mean, there's a lot of transparency, and you're very... have a high level of communication with DJ. We talked about in the last episode you and I did, and Joelle and I are the same way. So at some point I should share more with Marissa.
I think it would probably be valuable to her, and especially going with estate planning type things or thinking about that. If anything happens to you or Joelle, she sort of needs to know
Yeah, that's a good
what
point.
to expect and how to handle things if
That's a good point, especially because she's getting close to the age of majority where she wouldn't even be treated... Even now, I don't know if she'd be treated as a minor.
No, she's 18.
Yes.
She's a complete adult. She should know that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe this summer.
And this is something that we counsel our clients on, too, and we sit down with them. You know, you might want to have a conversation with your kids.
Well, I mean, they both do know that if something happened to Mom and Dad, that we have a plan.
Yeah.
That they would be fine financially, and they do know who the guardian would be. So we did share at least the basics of that, mainly just that you'll be okay. We have a plan. And so as far as that went, we did do that. So, all right. And William and Kaya, like my son Dominic and my daughter Marissa, are very different from one another, right?
Yeah.
And so can you point to some differences in how you have this discussion, especially with the project you laid out with the allowance and then earning more money from chores? Instances where you have to handle them a little differently based on their just own personalities and outlook on money?
Yeah. So my daughter has not touched any money in her savings account yet. And, you know, I had to explain to them, because I did also set up in the savings account where I pay them a monthly interest rate. And so they see this credit, because they both have the apps too where they can see their own accounts. So they see this interest credit on there and they're like, what is this? What is this money? What is this interest thing? And I'm like, okay. So I had to sit them both down and talk to them about, to encourage your savings. If you keep money in there, you earn money on your money, and then you earn money on that money.
So let me just stop you there. Are they actually earning money from the savings account within that app? Or are you paying them interest?
I'm paying that interest.
Okay.
I set the interest rate, and I'm paying that to encourage.
The purpose of you doing this is the teachable part of it?
Yes.
So it's a good investment. I imagine it's not a tremendous amount of money we're talking about.
And you can put a cap on it.
Okay.
Too.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
So Micaiah has not touched her savings at all. It's stayed there. William keeps wanting to take money from his savings and spend it like his spending money.
So is he more of a spender than she is? Because I asked you in the previous episode, are you more of a saver or spender, and is DJ more of a saver and a spender? And Joelle and I are both savers.
Yes.
So how would you categorize them?
I would say Kaya is more of a saver and William is more of a spender.
It's so funny. In my household, it's flip-flopped. Marissa's more the spender, and she's the older one. And Dominic is more of the saver.
But if they have cash, they'll both just blow their cash like nothing. They won't save a bit of cash at all.
Off, you know, when we're not recording, you know, you, Joelle, and I were together, was it yesterday or the day before, and Joelle relayed the story that, you know, Dominic, I think as Dominic gets older, it's actually going to have to be like, let go of your money a little bit. Like he literally, at 13 years old, will have sticker shock and choose not to buy something, whether it's our money or his own money. If he's thinking he's going to get something, let's say it's a shirt, and he looks at the shirt and he looks at the price tag, he might very well say, oh my God, I can't believe it's that much money. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. And then I might say, that's all right, kid. I'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. He might say, no, it's too much money.
Yeah, my daughter's getting that. My son has not gotten that yet. But even in her account, she's spent a couple things in her spending, and then she sees it go down, and she's starting to rethink things now. Like, is it really worth it? I have to work this hard to get this money.
Oh, yeah.
Because I told them when I started this, and it was a reason why I started it, is because I said, okay, I'll agree to the chores, and I'll agree to this allowance. But I'm not going to be paying for your extra stuff anymore. I'm not going to pay if you want to go to the movies with your friends. I'm not going to pay if you want to go out on a date. I'm not going to pay if you want a $200 prom dress. You're going to have to pitch in, and you're going to have to pay for these things yourself. So you know how much it costs because you want to do all this stuff. And they agreed to it. And yeah, it's not hit William, but Micaiah is coming around, and she's
but that 14
thinking,
is, I think, a little on the cusp.
Yeah.
If we were having this conversation, again, if it was 18 and 16, 2 years from now, it would be more similar. But 14, it's only 2 years, but I think in this conversation is a pretty big difference.
Right.
Makes sense. With your plan, I'm just curious, if the kids misbehave, now, I know my kids never misbehave. No, I'm not kidding. So if your kids misbehave or they don't get with the program, will you do a punishment that's financial? Like, will you say, you had this chore I was going to give you $3 for, but now you have to do it and you don't get the $3?
The only thing I have set up like that is cleaning their room. So they have to clean their room every single week. If they don't clean it and check it off, it automatically deducts $3 from their account.
Okay.
So I have that set up.
You have an involved system.
It's freaking awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just, I started seeing all these features from the thing, and I'm like, it's so cool. And I'm like, why not take advantage of this?
So for people listening again, because I'm not familiar with the app, candidly, I've never seen it. It's Flamzu?
Famzu. F-A-M. Like family.
Yeah.
So Famzoo.
Oh, now I get it. All right. And is it a free app?
The app is free.
But then there's
I believe they charge you like a $1 a month service charge just to manage the program. But there's a lot of different apps out there that do sort of the same thing. And I think it's awesome to try to teach your kids about finances.
In the time we have left, and I wish we had more time, I had written down in my notes that I'm a big believer, too, in more is caught than taught. So I've run into this where, not to sound, I don't want to be mean or elitist, but, I've met parents that, in my view, clearly misbehave with money. Mm-hmm. And this could be in a business setting, it could be in a social setting, it could be friends, it could be at a party. But, just people that I judge.
Yes.
That I don't think you're doing the right thing with money. And I am a certified financial planner. I do have a little bit of expertise with this. And then they'll talk about trying to teach their kids about money.
Yeah.
But the reality is, your kids, my kids, they're going to catch way more than we actually teach them.
Right.
Because they're watching.
Yes.
And with everything. Even with talking about how you and DJ handle money in your household, how Joelle and I do, they notice everything. And they're going to digest it.
Right. Not only do they notice what happens in your own household, they pick up on other kids at school.
Yes.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
So they get an idea of how other families handle their money, or sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're completely ignorant to it. Like, they wanted new iPhones. And I'm like, well, so I'm not going to get you a brand new iPhone because I choose to spend my money on different things. And they say, these kids at school have these brand new iPhones, and they're like $1,000 phones.
Right.
Which, yeah, I'm not going to get my kid a $1,000 phone. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to choose to spend my money on that.
Right.
I don't care what their family does, but in our family, we don't spend our money on that.
Yes. So, again, I don't want to be overly judgmental, but people need to have their financial house in order, and hopefully relationally, which is the theme of the Battle of the Sexes series we're doing, need to have a healthy communication, no secrets, and a plan to communicate with one another, and a plan to win with money and accumulate wealth and make smart financial decisions. We help clients on this all the time. But if you're not doing that well, you ought to be concerned that your kids are learning bad behaviors. And this is no different than if you drink to excess and the kids see that, or if you do drugs, or you can't hold down a job, or one spouse mistreats the other spouse verbally or physically. Kids are going to see these things, and they're going to build their worldview based on that. So it's good that we're talking about teaching, but probably with everything that you and I have both said in the 25 minutes or so, most of it's probably secondary,
right,
to what they've observed you doing.
Right.
How you get up and you go to work every day.
Yeah. How
you're careful with your money. You enjoy it, but you respect it.
Yes.
And DJ does too. Mm-hmm. And that's probably more important than all of these things. And your plan for your kids is reflective of that respect for money. And I'm sure that they pick up on that, and hopefully they will embrace it. And that should serve them very well. So thanks. This was a great discussion.
Yeah.
Did it go like you thought it would?
Not really. I mean, you have a bunch of questions in front of you, and I don't know if we even covered any of them, but...
No, this is just sit down, let's talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was cool. Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for listening. We have one more installment in the 5-part series, Battle of the Sexes. That'll come out next week. In the meantime, subscribe to the Simply Financial podcast. I would appreciate that a great deal. Go to the website, our website, www.elliottwealth.com. Find out more information about me, Lindy, and the rest of the team, and how we can help you win with money. If you're not a client of ours already, we'd love to speak with you. You could sign up for a free complimentary consultation. You can do it right at the website. Thanks much, and please check out the 5th episode in the 5-part series, Battle of the Sexes.
The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of SagePoint Financial Incorporated and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can assure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Please note, the information being provided is strictly as a courtesy. When you link to any of the websites provided here, you are leaving this website. We make no representation as to the completeness or accuracy of the information provided at these websites, nor is the company liable for any direct or indirect technical or system issues or any consequences arising out of your access to your use of third-party technologies, websites, information, and programs made available through this website. When you access one of these websites, you are leaving our website and assume total responsibility and risk for your use of the websites you are linking to. Securities and advisory services are offered through SagePoint Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Insurance services offered through Elliott Wealth Management, LLC, not affiliated with SagePoint Financial.
Simply Financial is part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find Exvadio podcasts at exvadio.com/podcast, the Apple Podcasts app, iTunes Store, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts. So join us and stay informed and entertained.